a hug for reassurance. Shortly the drizzle would abate. She would try her luck on Fairfield Street. There she would have the security provided by streetlights. She shivered, zipped up her parka, and started walking. From the shadows of the alley beside the Star and Garter public house, he watched as the woman turned left and walked slowly and provocatively toward Ardwick, her soft, silky, shoulder-length hair swaying in time with her hips. Just like his mother's. His heart lurched, a predator observing its prey. He sensed instinctively that this was the one. He patted the zipped pockets of his jacket, and then, both for remembrance and protection, he stroked the locket hanging from the chain around his neck. Finally, he made sure that he was not himself the focus of unwanted attention, and set off after her. Chapter 2. Monday, 1st May. Joe relaxed while Rico worked his magic. He had persuaded her to try a new style, a short crop cut with loads of texture, with the promise that it would broaden her face and give her a slightly mischievous expression. Joe liked the sound of that. Her existing style had become increasingly severe. She needed a little frivolity in her life. "Have you finished, Trenton?" Rico asked. The apprentice held up his broom and the bag full of hair. "Yes, Mr. Romano." "Good. Now you can go and tell those students to tidy the magazines and wash up the cups and saucers in the kitchen. As soon as you've done that, you can come back here and watch me finish this cut and blow. And before you go, turn up the volume on the television for Miss Stuart." "Yes, Mr. Romano." "He's a good boy," Rico confided. "I have hopes for him." Joe barely registered what he was saying. Her attention had been grabbed by a news headline about the discovery of a woman's body. Rico's arm kept blocking her vision, but she could hear the commentary. Greater Manchester Police have issued a statement confirming the body is that of a woman in her mid-20s, and that they believe there are suspicious circumstances surrounding her death. When asked if they have reason to suspect that it may be linked to the discovery of the bodies of several other women in the region that are part of an ongoing murder investigation, their spokesman declined to answer. Joe's pulse quickened. It had been over 3 months since Operation Juniper resulted in the capture of the region's most prolific serial rapist. She had spent that time preparing pre-trial evidence while she kicked her heels, waiting for the Independent Police Complaints Commission to decide if the discharge of her weapon and the consequent wounding of the suspect had been lawful and proportionate. Last week, their decision exonerating her had come through. Now she was desperate for another challenge. Rico stood back to admire his handiwork. "Perfetto, even if I say so myself," he declared. "Veramente bellissima." Joe was delighted with her new look, but anxious to pay as quickly as possible and get to her office on the Keys. As she turned to say goodbye, the door swung inwards, and she collided with a young man who had entered carrying a stack of cardboard boxes, 3 of which fell to the floor. "I'm so sorry," she said, staring down at a mass of curly black hair as the young man bent to pick the boxes up. "I wasn't looking." "Don't worry, Joanna. You go," said Rico. "No harm done." Chapter 3. Joe held her security pass against the entry pad and glanced at her watch. 10 minutes past 9 was not bad, she reflected, given that she had been to the gym and had her hair done. She heard the click and pushed the door open. Max Naylor, her fellow senior investigator, and Ram Shah, the serious crime analyst, were in relaxed conversation by the copy machine. "What time do you call this?" Max asked. She slipped her jacket off and hung it over her chair. "Where's Andy?" "He called to say he's stuck in traffic in Trafford after dropping his kids off at school," said Ram. "And Dorsey's setting up a video link next door. Harry wants a word. Do you want a copy to take through with you?" "No, thanks. Just had one." She went to join them. "I was just asking Ram how his mother's attempts to find him a bride is going," said Max. "You're in."